Dieter and Hutch, week 10 of the NFL season. 49ers and Rams for a game that feels deeply consequential. This feels like if the Niners have a chance to win this division, they have to win this week. Otherwise, they're playing for second place.
Yeah, I don't think there's really. I mean, there's ways they can get around that, but it's the Rams, I think, are set up for success in a way the Niners aren't. And there's a level of just looking at the injury report and going, well, their guys are available. Their guys are available in the Niners, again, who didn't have enough guys to begin with to start the season, have just been hurting the entire way through. So that's a basic way to look at it. I think the other way to look at it is that offense is ripping and that defense is just getting home with 4 every time and can play coverage behind it, and it's causing a lot of problems.
The Niners are healthier, I suppose, of the players who are active and ready to play. It should be noted. This is just one of those weird things that I don't think people naturally look at. Why is Mykel Williams not on injured reserve yet?
They always wait until, I think, Saturday to do that. I think they've almost always had that where they take it to the end of the week. I don't actually know the mechanism of why they do that.
It seems silly.
But they almost always, I mean, they've always done it that way. I'm not really looking into it too deeply. I should, maybe I should, but they always wait until Saturday, I think, and then they make those moves.
It would seem that it would behoove them, and I think you're right. That does ring a bell. It would seem to behoove them to put them on IR as early as possible, have the roster spot, and then you have the ability to add somebody to your roster. But heaven forbid, they do anything like that.
They just have always done it this way. I don't think that's prohibiting them from adding somebody. I think they will. I don't know who that will be, or if it's just Sebastian Valdez and they start playing him at edge.
Sure. Why not? I will note your defensive line and offensive line grades were put out on the Hutch Report, and they have proven to be and I'm not just saying that. I would not bring it up if I didn't feel this to be the truth. They are so informative because you can watch, and you have watched time and time and time again, but they're so informative about who's actually performing well. Things like Colton McKivitz having actually across the board a pretty good game. There were 3 really bad reps, but otherwise he was consistently winning. That's not something that stood out because you really only noticed the bad. I didn't quite comprehend how well Sam O had played until you put a number on it. And Keon White, I don't love their situation on defensive line. That is obvious. But those 2 guys kind of balled out. And the question I want to ask you is how much of that came against Andrew Thomas, or did they just sacrifice
Very
Mykel?
little of it came against Andrew Thomas. I will say I saw Mykel get Andrew Thomas once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
And one true win and one or 2 collapse the pocket. I think Sam O might have beat him once. But yeah, Andrew Thomas is a problem.
I told you, if they went right now, he's first team All-Pro. He's the best left tackle in football as we speak right now. There's a lot of good competition, but no one's playing better than him.
He's just stoning people straight up in a way that
awesome.
Used to be familiar to Trent Williams and is not. I think it's funny because I go from watching that Andrew Thomas tape, and they're playing Marcus Bow from
the Purdue
guy,
who,
almost everyone thought was going to be a center,
right,
or maybe a guard, and he's playing right tackle.
I won't lie, I never minded him prospect-wise as a tackle, but probably not in anyone's best
interest. A little shorter, a little stumpier. I think he's more of an early career McKivitz type, where you sort of bounce him around every position and see if he sticks somewhere. He started off well, had some really good reps, and then towards the end of the game just started getting cooked.
Right.
But it made me think of, going into this game, Jared Verse, again, a problem for Trent. That level of power going to be an issue. Byron Young, speed off the edge, just sprinting through it, is going to be a problem for Colton McKivitz. And I also think the rest of their front, like Poona Ford, I know they have other guys in their front, like Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk, who are both playing well.
They're very good players.
Poona Ford is just a couple times a game doing what Kalia Davis occasionally does, but in a way that's more under control and actually controls the line of scrimmage, where he just displaces whoever he's in front of by 2 yards and then just disengages and waits till the running back is in his lap.
I promise to keep this tight. Have you ever heard the Patton Oswalt outside of the Viper Room bar bit? Have you ever
No,
heard
what's
that one?
that?
So I will try to not get us copyright dinged and be succinct, and I certainly can't do it in the Patton Oswalt voice, but a big fan of Patton Oswalt. And basically they're out drinking, they go to the parking lot, and there's two guys who kind of dressed in their fuck me shirt. You know, it's
Right.
they're out there and they didn't get laid, so now they're looking to start a fight with somebody. And they go up and they're picking on this little ball of a man,
Right.
like 5'4", nothing, and they're just picking on him. They're trying to pick a fight with him. And the little guy picks one of them up and throws them straight on their face to the ground. And these are normally sized, 6 foot tall guys or whatever. Throws them to the ground and then just goes back to his conversation and his cigarette. And Patton Oswalt's like, oh, that's the greatest feat of athletic strength I've ever seen. This guy was a power lifter. He now realizes that he's this stumpy, deep thing because he's a power lifter. And every time I see Puna Ford, I either think of the mushrooms from Mario or that Patton Oswalt bit where it's like, oh, he's a power lifter. I know that is not an aesthetically pleasing body, but for football, that's going to work.
I love watching Puna Ford play. It's tough. It's tough if you're a 49ers fan and you're trying to block out. If you just don't want to look at the Rams, you're like, their players aren't. No, they're great. They have an awesome team of really cool dudes.
Yes.
So that's going to be tough to deal with.
To be noted, it is much love as some, not us actually. I would note. We gave it some deference, but I don't think we built up that Giants defensive line to be anything excellent. This defensive front is a lot more similar to the Texans than it is to the Giants, and certainly the 49ers are not in that class.
The Giants are all flash, no bash. And
there we go. Now we're talking.
The Rams are all of the above. They've got every type of piece you could want in front.
And to be fair, they don't always show up.
No. They're not always consistent at all.
Yeah,
but
they're young, but they are talented. That secondary, though, super questionable. Just across the board. Some players, every now and again, they'll make plays, but they leave a lot of space out there, and they leave a lot of plays out there from my vantage.
I do like Kobe Durant. I've liked his tape more and more. I'm not sure about the other corner whose name I literally always forget.
Now I gotta pull it up. Thanks.
I know. I should have it. And then their safeties. It's tough because they're all wearing weird numbers. It's Kinchins and Cam Curl. And I think
are you thinking about Darius Williams or Emmanuel Forbes, the slender?
Forbes.
Yeah, Forbes, the slender man. That can't work. But who's going to stop him? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's
Quentin Lake's a good player.
Quentin Lake is a good player. Quentin Lake has been very good for them this year. Yep. But again, their linebackers suck. Yep. So it's a game where I think the Rams are going to cause the 49ers problems. Kyle has always been good against McVay and always good against attacking linebackers. And so I think logically they're still going to be able to move the ball. I think they're still going to be able to put points on the board. I do think in key moments towards the end of this game, the Rams front will get home, and that might end up deciding the game.
Yeah. And it almost did the last go around. That game really shifted. What stands out to me watching the Rams offense is that as good as Stafford and Devontae Adams looked early, they've gotten markedly better in recent weeks. They're operating on some sort of telekinetic level that I can't quite get I can't quite understand.
They're targeting him at least twice a game in the red zone. They're going to him a lot in the red zone.
And they'll run a lot of cool pick plays. They'll run little delay plays for him. Because he's so deft. It's unbelievable how good he is. And that's kind of a great litmus test for ball knowers. Do you think Devontae Adams is the absolute truth? And if they I don't know, they don't know ball.
He has this sort of nonchalant sort of comfortability in the way he moves, in a little bit the way that Le'Veon Bell at his peak used to play running back. Okay. Sort of just a patience, but then he's past you, and just a general feel and I know when to take this step to get by you. That I don't think you can really teach other than experience by like learning again and again and again.
And it's so funny to think back on Davante Adams' career because his knock for the first couple of years, and he was he was not a highly touted prospect or anything, but like he didn't look like a player for his first 2.5 years. And then he rebuilt how he got off the line of scrimmage, and he's just been a Hall of Famer ever since.
Yeah.
To do a cross-sport analogy, he's kind of reminiscent of like a Clayton Kershaw to me, where yes, he has the goods. Like, there's no question that Clayton Kershaw had the fastball to win, but it was about all of the off-speed stuff playing off of that fastball, and maybe not with the same like artistry or whatever as like a Maddox or something, but it was power, but mostly it was precision and being able to throw still at this point in his career the full bag at anybody. It's going to be a real challenge for the Niners, and I'm very curious as to what kind of defensive structure they throw on the back end, because last week it was rush 4, drop 7 into a soft zone, and that worked fine because Jackson Dart was the quarterback. That is a surefire way to lose a game to Matthew Stafford, Davante Adams, and Sean McVay.
But he'll also, if you try and speed him up every time, like they'll just get the ball out quick and dink it to Puka for 10 yards, and he'll rumble for a few more. I mean, it's tough watching the Saints because you can't really make much of it, but they would just drop and give Puka 10 yards of space, and they're like, we will take that every single time. Like,
how'd that work?
didn't go great.
Didn't they run double the amount of plays? Yeah, I mean, that was – and that's a big factor here. The Rams are 2 weeks off of their bye, and last week they openly said that it was basically like they were playing – East Tennessee State, and that it wasn't a challenge.
That was like the first sort of note I have in terms of my prediction is like, not only are they healthier, they're coming off of almost 2 bye weeks in a way. Like they really played a joke last week, had a very easy go of it after a bye. The 49ers, I mean, Kyle Shanahan was like talking about Mikel. He said that Mikel could have used a week more than anyone on the team. Right. But I think it spoke to the fact that like they were relying on their number 11 pick, who they were going to rely on him a ton, but he was the only piece they had left. He was the only defensive end they had left. And so this threadbare group is just getting burnt to a crisp, and they still don't have a bye until week 14.
Yeah.
Again, there's nothing out of the question with this team because of the way they've been able to just manufacture success in the passing game.
Right.
And the way they've just, Salah's dialed stuff up, and sometimes it's hit. For the most part, it's hit. But at a certain point, like you're just, and I know we predicted it last time, but I think we understated and didn't appreciate the Thursday night of it and the fact that these teams know each other so well that Kyle can exploit that.
Right.
But at a certain point, there is like a talent and a health gap that I just think will end up winning the Rams this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know what the odds are for this game, but I would imagine that the Rams are favorites on the road. I would imagine that most people are picking them to not just win, but to cover with significance. And yet
Have you seen the spread?
No, what is the spread, Jake?
I want us to guess before I look it up.
Okay. We'll just rip off Bill Simmons. I'm going to guess that the spread is Rams 2.5. What's your guess?
Ooh. I would say Rams by 3.
Okay, here we go. 49ers, Rams. Who do we want to use? Let's go BetMGM. Actually, let's just do CBS. Okay, here we go.
Oh, you know what? It's 4.5, and I almost said it.
Wow. It's 4.5 now. It started at 3.5.
And I moved it down.
Started at 3.5, moved to 4.5. That's
I think that's about right.
Wow. Okay.
But I kind of think I like the 49ers at that spot.
That's kind of where I'm at. And I think that's an artificial
It's either going to be a blowout or it's going to be like a close game at the end.
Well, who's playing quarterback for the 49ers this week, Jake?
I think it's going to be Mac.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Mac too. And
the way it was interesting, like the way it sounded like Brock was, we thought he was going to come back this week. I think like a few weeks ago, this lined up as like a perfect game to bring him back. And maybe Kyle is doing a little bit of Schadenfreude, trying to game the system and try and say, like he's ailing. It's going to be a few more weeks, and they're just going to keep bringing him along, and he's going to be a maybe for a while. And he's just going to play this week. But
you thought he was slow playing it so that it was always this week. Is that what you're saying?
I thought a few weeks ago, this lined up perfectly for Brock to come back.
Agreed.
I think the way that they talked about it makes it seem like they're going to ride Mac for as long as they possibly can until the wheels fall completely off. And I think they probably think they can beat the Cardinals with Mac, and whatever happens in this game happens.
It is so bizarre to me that they wouldn't have just IR'd him. But then again, they don't IR guys who have torn ACLs. So
Micah will go on IR. But I think they're just careful about the roster spots, and there's an element too of them thinking, all right, well maybe he can come back in 3 weeks or something. But they do make some very strange decisions on that front, where it's like, what are we doing here?
You mentioned it last week. I just forgot because it's such a it's the correct counterpoint. It's just such a ridiculous premise. Is they have to be really conscientious of who they have on and off and how that all plays because there is a limitation. Let me ask you this, Jake. Robert Saleh didn't dial much up last week, if anything. And that's fine because it was the Giants and you dare Jackson Dart to beat you. Again, a foolhardy plan if that's the way they want to go about it. Watching the film, it seems to me as if the Niners want to have a shot, they got to rush forward. And maybe they bring a fifth every now and again. But really, they have to play sticky coverage on the back. I feel like with the way Renardo Green and Upton Stout are playing right now, that this should be a man-to-man game and that they should play a lot of man and see where the chips fall on that. How does that sound to you?
I think they should definitely – I don't think that's something they should exclusively run, but I'm with you. I think that's something that they should at least try. And I think going away from type in terms of like what they've actually employed is just going to benefit them. Even if it backfires, right, and they just end up not being able to do it. I think Renardo's very comfortable in man-to-man. I really think he's like a true man-to-man corner, and some of the stuff where it's like a zone and he has to pick stuff up, part of that's communication.
See man, cover man.
But like I think when it's just like you're on him, I think, and it's very clearly dictated, I think he likes that. I think Stout too. I think there's an element of simplicity in that when it's just you're on this guy that could help. I think that will be a problem when they run some of those pick plays we talked about, and there's going to be times where that leads to a bust or somebody gets picked and there's like a 40-yard open play. But I do think that's a wrinkle that they should throw in there more. And I think the Rams are going to figure out ways to beat you either way. But Stafford's also going to give you a couple opportunities for an interception.
Right.
And man-to-man's probably a better chance to get that.
It does feel as if the Niners have to handily win the turnover battle, which is, of course, what they did against the Rams.
Or just never turn it over themselves.
Even then, they have to get a turnover or two. Like, they have to steal possessions because the Rams have the ability to score in 5 plays.
I will say I'm not at all impressed with their run game, but although that doesn't really seem to matter in terms of how their offense functions.
Yeah, and I kind of go back. They're still trying to get Blake Corum to be the Tyler Algier to the Bijan Robinson, right? Like a ridiculous comparison, but I think Kyron's a good player.
Kyron's more the Algier, I think.
Well, the double Algier action then.
Yeah.
It's not an impressive run game, and it's not an impressive offensive line, but it does feel like a smart operation, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like they will run some interesting protections and they'll execute them to the limits of their human capabilities, which is sometimes limited, but it's not because a guy's in the wrong spot. There's not a lot of missed plays or guy doesn't know the play, or it seems like everyone knows what it is they're supposed to do. They just can't always execute it. And for a Niners team that, as I can tell you from every Monday, when Jake and I start watching the film and Jake will text me basically a steady stream of this guy didn't know the play texts. Like that is still an issue for the 49ers. Like that's still a problem for San Francisco, that this offense still seems beyond the capabilities of some of the players on the team. Like how much does that bear out in this game?
Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think the Niners, it's tough because the way they won last time was by slowing the game down early and getting the ground game going a little bit. Actually, it wasn't even the ground game. That wasn't true.
No, they just Kendrick Bourne.
Yes. I do think the Rams front, and when they have been beaten on the ground, and again, they're let's be clear, they're number 2 in EPA per pass, and they're number 5 in EPA per rush. So like the defense is doing a damn good job, and they're also staying fresh because of the way their offense is operating. I think they're susceptible to duo and power and sometimes split zone. I think between tackles more than outside the tackles. I think you can attack those linebackers. And so there's going to be an element of the 49ers having established like a gap running game a little bit. That's going to give the Rams a little bit more to chew on, a little bit more to think about. And I think that'll help. But to answer your question, will the wide receivers and certain players not knowing the plays hurt them? It could damn them. It's something where this is a game where they can't really afford that. And they've been improved, but there's still many, many, many plays where Juwan Jennings or Kendrick Bourne, and it's almost always those two. Sometimes Farrell, who I thought was good, still like will miss a block every now and then or just completely lose. But like Bourne and Jennings will a couple times a game either not know the play or just have a complete disastrous blocking situation where they'll completely whiff or just lose. So that could be a problem in a game the 49ers need sort of every inch. Yeah.
It's week 10. Probably not ideal.
Did you see the play where it was just like a stick concept and Kendrick Bourne just didn't run a 9?
No.
And DeMarcus Robinson stopped because he's like, well, this is going to be a pick if I keep running.
Yep. Yeah, no, they're great. It's awesome. I'm sure Mac Jones isn't beside himself.
Did you see during the game where Mac was just like talking to himself? He's like, oh, okay.
He does that a lot. I mean, you should see this. I do love when they cut to him on the sideline and he's just like zoned out, just kind of despondent. Like, and mainly because there's 4 people working on him at all times to keep him alive.
It's nowhere near like the Jack Flaherty level, which I don't think is talked about enough. That guy's
lunatic,
crazy.
Man. Yeah.
That guy's insane. I was watching him in the playoffs and I realized it was like the first time I've really watched him pitch. And I'm like, I've never seen, he's like speaking in tongues to himself.
Yeah, no, he definitely has some Tent Revival energy going on. And I get it. Like, I get it. I talk to myself a lot, you know.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. Not necessarily positive talk.
I think you're insane if you're not at home just like speaking out loud, either gibberish or running scenarios through your head.
The amount of times that I'll say, God damn it, Dieter, to myself during the day, countless, unquestionable amount, just uncountable amount of times. You mentioned duo power and split zone is how you think you can get the Rams in the run game. And obviously the Niners running a lot more of that. It's so funny because in this, I know that you know that you know that I know thing that they have going on between McVay and Shanahan, sometimes these guys tell on each other or on themselves, and they'll give you the answer. So what is it that the Rams really like to do in their run game? Duo power and split zone. Like it's an insert zone with the split, with Puka being as like a tight end. But like when they're at their best, they'll run duo 5 times in a row. They'll run power, not as often, but they really do like to bust it out on like short third downs. And then split zone is kind of their bread and butter on early downs, longer runs, sort of just establishing pace of play and line of scrimmage stuff. Like that's what the Rams like to do, typically because these coaches are scheming during the week against their own defense. They kind of tell you in what they run, what you should run.
Right.
And for the 49ers, you can basically run anything you want against them right now because you have no idea. Though I should note, I think we failed to mention, it sounds like Bryce Huff is back for this game.
Yeah, he said he's playing. I would bet that's like sort of a bit role.
Yeah.
Just
it
keep
helps.
him.
Third down,
but
you know?
That's huge. I mean, they desperately need him back. And I do want to mention, we mentioned Sam O briefly and Keon White. Yeah. Sam O's just been overall good, and Keon White, I think, is just going to slot into exactly what Michael was doing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we're in a great situation if Sam Aquanu is now your speed rusher Nick Bosa replacement. Like, it does feel like that's a bit of a drop off, but that it's been a facsimile, not necessarily reasonable, but like I get it, I can see it. Okay, and then with White, I don't think it's Michael. I think there's a little bit more upside maybe in the immediacy than Michael.
And I think there's much more upside in the pass game. There's much more downside in the run game.
Yeah, but I thought he was
Like,
very solid in watching that game. I
I
thought that
agree.
maybe
I
we
would
underestimated
also
him.
like to mention something that astounded me on the tape.
Astounded. Okay.
Robert Beal beat Andrew Thomas almost clean.
Is it happening? Are we having the Robert Beal moment?
You will notice if you look in the grades
I know.
that Robert Beal had like
Two.
He had like 4 wins. He had the highest win rate and the highest loss rate uh, at defensive end for the 49ers. It is, and I think there's an element of like there's not a lot of tape. Who is this guy? And then sort of being not knowing what that is.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, all right, it's just a different body type, a different player that you didn't really prepare to see very much.
Yeah.
But and he also hadn't played most of the game, so there's like spring in his step, whereas everyone else is aching and ailing and has played 40, 50 snaps and is like tired.
He's a human being with fresh legs. It's going to look better.
But I saw some spring from Robert Beal, and I went, okay, that was legitimately good. That was not like as a bit. That was legitimately good. And for a guy I just pretty much default to ripping on, I have to mention that I saw some good from him, and I was surprised.
Anything they can get from Robert Beal is such a bonus, and they actually got something.
And they got good and they got bad. So
yes, but
Kalia Davis experience.
Or the Alfred Collins experience, or the kind of anybody on the interior of the defensive line, which
one
did
other
not
note,
impress me. Yeah,
Alfred Collins seems to get much better in later in games. It almost feels like it takes him 2.5 quarters to like get a sense for the physicality of stuff, and it's almost like because of his size and strength, it wears on teams, and he gets a feel for like how ripping against people moves or works.
Yeah.
So
that makes some sense, though, right?
Yeah.
Like he didn't learn how to rip until like 3 months ago.
I still don't know what he is as a player, and I don't think we're going to know for like another 2 years if we're being honest.
He's big. That's big. Where I'm at.
He's strong, and I think if he puts it all together, he's going to be a problem. But he's the anchoring part that we sort of hoped is not really there. He's losing like 3-4 yards every play and then ripping. And I think it was because, again, totally different scheme that he came from, where his one job was to stand there, and then now they're like, attack. He's like, okay, wait, okay, now attack? I don't know what to do.
I never learned. It's Wayne's World, and I never learned to read. Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, not really, except for the reading part.
There's a world where second half of next season, he's really good.
Yeah, and I think that if I were to kind of remove myself from what we see and just go on sort of a holistic and perhaps even nerdy angle, it's that he's so much bigger and stronger than everybody else that just as the game goes on and it kind of comes down to just very tired men trying to do something to each other, the bigger, stronger guy is probably going to win a lot of those matchups. Like,
yeah.
And it's a lot easier to throw a very tired man off of you than one who's kind of got some pep in his step and hasn't done 40 reps of football yet. And he's just still there. I mean, never question.
Still here.
The big man's stamina.
Remember just that never one?
Question. Still here. Jesus Christ. Anything else you want to get in on this game? I think it's going to be a pretty short pod in all likelihood.
That's, I don't know that there's that much more to add. I think we know who these teams are. Again, I mentioned the Rams are just like a fundamentally healthier team. They just have a lot clicking their way. That said, Joseph, who said this is going to be a bloodbath, easily 42-9. Joseph might be the only person we have on our channel who's more negative than we are.
Love it.
Shout out. Appreciate
Shout out, Joseph.
Honestly, makes me feel
Keep
like
moving that Overton window, baby.
That's sort of what I predicted last time, was that it was going to be a blowout, and I won't fall for that same trick again, which means maybe it will be. But I really do think this is a close game that the Rams win in the end, because they're just able to get pressure, and Jared Verse wins against Trent late with power and Byron Young, and Mac can't scramble, and the coverage starts to get too sticky, and Mac might panic and throw one. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think I could see it going either way, but my gut is that the Rams win it close.
Yeah, I don't think it will be particularly close, but I do think it will be respectable. I get the sense that Kyle will have a very good first half and that the Niners will look very competitive for that first half, and the wheels kind of come off in the second. When and to be very acute in my prediction, and I hate to do this because I do think he's really, I keep using this phrase, but I think it's appropriate. He's really turned a corner. If the Rams don't come out and immediately try to make Upton Stout regret ever playing football in his life, they'll definitely do that come second half.
And remember the last game they targeted Siegel. They went at him like play after play after play. So I'm curious how that approach is.
I'm sure it's going to go great for Jair Brown. I'm sure it's going to go great. It's,
exactly. I do want to get to
just along those lines. Like I think there's a feeling out process in all division games. And let's do some questions. I got one question for you.
Tony, by the way, shout out
Tony.
Would love a sicko video where I go over the grades and the methodology. Not that we have time for that.
It's a great idea.
We can absolutely do that. I won't promise a win, but we can absolutely do that.
That's a great idea. Okay. What else do we want to hit?
Khan for joining the channel.
Khan, get in a question, buddy.
Griff says, "Is it bad that I think I'd rather play the Rams than the Seahawks this week?"
I don't think
that's
question.
Bad, and I think that reveals that the Seahawks are. I think, as you mentioned at the start of the season, like they might really get cooking in the second half.
Let me ask you. This is the question I was going to ask you. Who's the favorite to win the NFC West right now?
I would still pick the Rams.
I would pick the Seahawks still, and I think we're going to ride this thing all the way to the gates of hell. It is interesting, though. What was the numbers you threw at me? I think I wrote them down here, where they are. The Rams are number 2 in EPA against the pass.
Number 2 in EPA against the pass. Number 5 in EPA against the rush. So
they can make the argument that they're certainly one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL. Yeah. They can make the argument when it's all said and done that they're the best. The Seahawks can make the same argument right now. The Seahawks' offensive efficiency is absolutely off the charts.
It's crazy. And adding Rashid Shaheed, where it's just like,
I'm really fascinated to see how that pass game moves from this point on, because Cooper Kupp looks like he was just out for a week. They've been using him like a tight end. His blocking is so valuable. But Horton, who was your guy in the draft, and there's a lot of very respectable people beyond yourself who were big Torrey Horton heads, and he is awesome. He's fantastic. And that now Shaheed, and there's a little bit of depth there, Bobo and all that. Like there's some depth there. Colby White, not Ricky White from UNLV, Colby White, who's just been in the league forever on practice squads, but is a good player. And it's kind of stunning he was still on practice squads. There's some depth with that offense there. On the flip side, they run a lot of, 2 tight end sets, kind of showing the run. Kenneth Walker looks really good as a running back, isn't particularly great. Maybe a little bit more.
But he's got so much more explosive potential, whereas Zach Charbonnet is like when you play Madden and you have the computer and it just goes for 3 yards.
Yeah. But along those lines, like, I wonder if teams will stop setting up in base and stop selling out against the run and admit that the Seahawks are a pass-first team, and then maybe make Kenneth Walker prove that he can.
There's going to be a point where Darnold starts to look shaky.
It just will. He looks so goddamn good.
I know, but it'll come. I think at some point.
And goddamn, that defense can fucking fly. They're awesome. And then with the Rams, I mean, this is the stake in the ground. This is the flag plant game for the Rams. If they're the team to beat, certainly in the NFC West, and perhaps even in the NFC, this is the game where you just yell it like, "Hey, Niners by all external accounts should be considered paper tigers, just given the level of injury. If the Niners win this game, we're still in anything is possible reverse 2024 season."
I mean that's the most logical part of this illogical season, is that them sweeping the Rams with just a threadbare roster and not really ever believing that they can do it, I think would be pretty fitting for how the season has gone.
Yeah. And having it at home, I think, matters too. It does. I know that.
I almost like them away more when they play the Rams.
Just because you get the weird silent count situations for a home team?
Yes.
Yeah. but now it's silent count no matter what. Presumably. I mean, if the Niners come out and lay a dud, there won't need to be a silent count. But yeah, I need a score
and it's
prediction
a night
from
game
you.
because 1 p.m. now is pitch dark.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Every time that happens, it ruins my mood for like 3 days.
It ruins my mood for like 5 months. But it is. I mean, it's to the point where. So I have a cargo bike. I go and pick up my kids on the cargo bike every day at around 4. And now I'm like, oh, damn, we got to go. The sun is about to set. And while I have 42 lights on this thing, like not anyone's idea of a good time just riding down the street with 2 kids on the back and it's dark at 4:45. It's terrible. I don't know how my wife, who grew up in Scotland, functioned. And I guess the answer is she didn't. She moved to America. But it did. And her family's in Seattle. It goes down to 3 there. Man, they you talk about born in the darkness. My goodness.
Yeah. There's a reason grunge started in Seattle.
I mean, legitimately, all it does is rain and it's dark at 3. And like, I don't know how these Canadians function. I don't know how these
Every time I
Finnish
visit,
people
it's
function.
great. And then I go, and then people are like, well, you were there for a few days. You don't know what it feels like.
Yeah. That week 18 game is in Santa Clara, so it doesn't really matter. Seahawks need to use, like Green Bay, Buffalo, Seahawks, they need to use their home field advantage more and demand games on the road to start the season.
Yeah.
Like, is there any better break than, hey, we got the Packers this year, we're playing in September, or hey, we got the Bills this year, it's early October? Like, no. Like, that's a huge break. And meanwhile, the Dolphins, every year the Dolphins are just begging that they don't have to go to Buffalo in November or December. Like, the Niners don't have anything like that. I guess it starts raining, but
yeah,
use your home field advantage more.
I know you
didn't build the dome.
Before we get out of here, let me get to some wood gravy ones. Does anyone think this is a Chase Lucas game? I think he's the only one in the secondary who could be counted on to take advantage of Stafford's would-be interceptions. Might be needed to blitz. I think probably not, but I like the thought. I think he brings like a level of speed and knack in terms of blitzing that they don't have otherwise. I think Stout tries, but there's like a level of physicality Lucas brings that's really interesting.
Yeah, Lucas is in more control of his physicality, and Stout's just a straight-up scrapper.
Yeah.
Which, depending on how the game is refereed, might be an advantage here. This is going to be the Renardo Green game, either good or bad. Like, there's just...
I like that.
I mean, I suppose we could call it the Diamador Lenore game, but I can't imagine an upside there. So let's call it the Renardo Green game.
I'm with you. A couple Seattle comments.
Yeah.
Sage Stevens, Seattle chiming in here. The long dark sucks, but awesome summer. I mean, the summers aren't better. There's nowhere the summer is better.
What are you talking about? There's nowhere the summer isn't better?
No, the summer is the best in Seattle. It's incredible.
It's great. It's Chicago. I mean, listen, Chicago and Milwaukee, like Great Lakes summers are pretty awesome.
But it also gets crazy buggy.
Depends. If you're in an actual city and not in a suburban area. If you're near the lake, it's not buggy. Seattle's really up there. It's really up there. I would also say, like, I know that this is a homer take. It is somewhat ridiculous. Like San Francisco Bay Area summers, every now and again, you're like, am I going to have to turn on the heat? It's fucking cold. Like, this sucks. And then you look at the rest of the country and you're like, I'll take it. Yep. I don't mind wearing this jacket. Like,
San Francisco, it's 62 degrees.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. And like, there are 10 days a year where I have to put on the air conditioning system that I spent too much money on when we were redoing the house. But like, the trade-off is it's sunny every day, and it's not like, oh God, the sun is going to kill me sunny. I will say there's also kind of a point of diminishing returns on it's still light outside at 10 p.m. Like, sometimes I want to go to sleep.
Nah.
No, like in Scotland, it's brutal. In Scotland, so we go to Scotland every summer.
Well, I've been to Iceland, and it's
the same shit. Yeah, and it's like, dude, like
you feel
the sun
insane.
goes down at 11:30 and it's up at 3:30, and you're like, this is no sort of circadian rhythm.
No.
Basically, there should be no cities north of Portland. Maybe that's the argument. Like after that, well, and we're all going to be moving further north in no time. We all got to move to Buffalo, New York, because they'll have the fresh water and cheap real estate.
Shout out Orchard Park.
Shout out and that ridiculous stadium. Have you seen the renderings? I mean, they've damn near almost built.
I'm sure it's insane.
It looks like a lovely stadium. They built like a half dome, so the crowd is going to be protected from the snow, but not the players won't be. And like apparently there's like no wind, and it's like, dude, just finish the job, just do the thing. Like it's basically like an expanded Texas stadium in Irving where they had that.
Why would they do such a thing?
Well, understandably, because no one wants to go to I mean, they'll go when they're good, but if you're not good, you're not going to go to a game in Orchard Park right off of the lake, which is the coldest place on earth in the winter. And it's like, if I have the choice of, shoveling 80 inches of snow, which one time I did get caught in a snowstorm in Buffalo, and there was like 83 inches of snow accumulated. People are going to say no, and especially when you have to do PSLs and stuff. It's like, no, I'm good. We'll get a really nice TV. So they had to do something to protect the fans. But again, here it is, hottest take I've ever had. All NFL games should be played in domes. All of them. Every last one of them. This is professional football.
What about tradition, Dieter?
You don't want to build a new stadium? That's fine. But like every game should be played in a dome. I don't know what is
I think I disagree with you on that.
Let college have this whimsical nature of weather. The Dolphins and the Browns.
Okay, so that's fair. If you're pro in college, anti in the NFL.
I'm anti-weather in the NFL because it's professional and there's a lot more money on it. And like that should be a perk of playing at I want to see the highest caliber of football being played at all times and not encumbered by weather. And like you saw that Browns-Dolphins game, which was not the highest level of football, but it never had a chance to be good because it was 60-mile-per-hour winds and Tua's out here, shivering in his spine, and it's just brutal. Like, think about that Colts 49ers game from a couple years back that was just played in a torrential downpour. Like, was that fun? Did we all have fun watching that? It was quirky, but quirky doesn't mean let college with their traditions and their bands and their weird.
I don't know.
Let them have the quirk. The NFL is for adult men bashing.
I think it's
each
also
other
nice
head
to be outside. Watch your game outside.
People, all NFL fans do is spend time outside. That's what tailgating's for. Then go inside, and you don't have to wear a coat.
I would say I think it's insane the league hasn't mandated grass fields for all of its fields.
Another aspect that would probably go counter is I think. How about that? I want the very strange subsection of all NFL games need to be played under a roof, and all of them need to be played on grass. Figure it out. LED lights. I literally just bought a grow light.
It's not hard to do. I know. I've seen it. I've gone outside. And the Niners have these like pink LED lights that they bring. It's pretty crazy.
It is kind of cool. You're wondering what it could do for like somebody who might be losing their hair. Just like go stand under that for 5 minutes. Red light therapy on you. Yeah. Like that's a game changer.
Yeah, but it's like a pink light. It's nuts.
It is. Actually, I did a little research on these because we have Heather wants live plants in a couple of places that get bad sunlight in our house. And so I'm like, I'm going to have to buy a grow light. And not all LEDs are grow lights. You need a certain amount of blue and you need a certain amount of red in that LED to get.
You should talk to Kyle Juszczyk about this. He's growing plants.
Is Kyle Juszczyk growing plants?
Yeah.
I hear that's legal in California.
All right.
You do run into that marketplace when you're like, hi, I would like to keep this ficus alive. And they're like, what if you wanted to grow some weed?
Hydroponics? You're a hydroponics guy?
I would be. Actually, I did do some hydroponics with some herbs once. Not that kind of herb. I haven't done that in many years.
Growing your own plants is fun. I recommend
it. It is fun. Everyone. It is fun. Big fan of hydroponics. I should probably get another one of those. I give those out as gifts a lot. I should probably get another one for myself.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions on hydroponics, we'll talk about it after the game. That's on Sunday.
You're not going to the game, are you? You have.
I'm not sure yet.
Okay. Well, I'll be there.
I may or may not have forgotten to. I thought I applied. We'll see.
It's an email you can send right now, I imagine. But if you don't go, that's fine. I'll be in a press box, and you'll be living your life to its fullest. And we'll talk after the game. Let's just quickly do a bit of housekeeping here. Oh yeah, let's do that. Prediction. I'm going to go Rams 33, Niners 21 in a game that is respectable up until the point where the wheels come off.
Rams 31. No. That doesn't feel right. Rams 30, 49ers 26. That's 30-26.
30-26. Okay. And then finally, as it pertains to comments, here's the deal. I was going absolutely batshit insane trying to police the comment section. And it's fine. We knew it was coming. It got a little weird. I'm not good enough at this to like segment my mind to where I can both read just the I'm just easily distracted. Let's just leave it at that. And so here's the policy. We're going to make all live chats during the show members only. And that is and anything that's on there, we can see it. We can approach it. Like you're getting right to the front of the line because it's an exclusive members only line. We will, however, be obviously the comment section on the video itself, not the live chat during the show, but on the video itself is open and free to anybody. We will be sure to take 3 or 4 or 5 questions from that every week and bring them over to answer those questions. So you're not totally beholden, but if you want a question answered like in the moment,
right,
the comment section live as a member is the place to do it. Think of it, and we love super chats. We'd love if you threw more our way. It's a guaranteed to get to the front of the line. You want to talk about that. But think about being a member as like a monthly one-time super chat fee. And in that, if you have a question and you're a member, it's getting answered and off the live stream. So that's the way we're going to handle it because, as predicted, the riffraff started to sneak in with some of the subscriber stuff. And like,
yeah,
I'm just not. It is a 100%. We don't have a producer. I don't want to hire a producer. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to keep this thing lo-fi. I want to keep this thing real and authentic. And me and Jake just doing the best we can. And neither of us are capable of handling that comment section. And it was only going to get worse from here because we expect big things, particularly as the season comes to an end and we get into draft stuff. If it was unmanageable now, it's going to be unmanageable later. So
that's right.
Live chat members only, and everything else we'll make sure. We see every comment that you put under the videos, and we appreciate them. Not all of them, but them generally. And we'll make sure to transfer it in. And another point of note, I looked into some of the data the other day. Roughly a third of folks who routinely watch aren't subscribed. So if you are watching this right now and you've made it this far, thank you for enjoying our stuff. Thank you for hanging out with us in our weird, nerdy, and holistic little group of folks that we got going on. I'll drop
the Thunderdome
a bit. Welcome to the Thunderdome. It's hard. Legitimately, I don't mean this as it's kind of hard to know if you're subscribed or not because that button has like an inverse coloration. So just if you've made it this far, it doesn't cost you anything. It's not a membership. Just hit subscribe and let's try to get that number to 100%. If you're a regular watcher, we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. We're trying to get to 3,000 now. And we have bigger goals in the future that we'll bring up and come up with a game plan for everybody.
We just want to do more with the channel. And the more you support it, the more we can do.
100%.
2 more things before we go.
My God, the amount of housekeeping. Yes.
Tony, appreciate you.
Shouts, Tony.
Go subscribe to the Hutch Report. You would not believe how long it takes to go and do grades every single week.
I can legitimately believe it. It sucks, but it is.
It's not the process of like grading and looking at it because I like enjoy that, but like the charts, they take some time. So I appreciate you, Tony. And then the last one, given the Jets situation, how big of a Jets fan will Hutch be during draft season? This is unfortunately like a window that could bring me back into the Jets franchise. It's
just when I thought I was out, he brought me back in.
It's just the prospect of that many picks. It's not that I'm going to become a Jets fan again. It's that
you don't have time for that.
I may make a Madden franchise and use their picks and have a really good time doing it.
I think that there are It's funny. I mean, we'll talk about this after the show on Sunday, but there are teams that we have affinities for, mainly because they rip our shit off during draft season. And
Yes.
hopefully, I don't know anyone personally who's on the Jets staff, but like we're here to help. We're here to help, and
We're here to help, folks.
look at others around the NFL and think, how can I be like them? And the answer is watch the Dieter and Hutch show.
That's right.
And if you think I'm being sarcastic, y'all don't even know 1% of it. It's a wild, wild world out there. And these people be desperate.
Yeah.
So much so that they're coming to us.
Last thing before we go, put on that Chad Pennington jersey. You folks should know he has a son named Cole Pennington who plays for Gardner Webb. I think we ended.
You look like more like a Wayne Quebec guy to me.
I was a Wayne Quebec guy. I have an enormously oversized Wayne Quebec jersey.
That's the show. Bye.
See you, folks.